Hi, everyone. Jen Hart here with Connected and the Connected Soul Network. If you don't know me, say hello. Tell me where you're from. How'd you come here? Not how'd you come here, but how'd you find me to be here today? We are so happy to have you. If you're returning, please say hello. Thanks for joining us again. It's always a pleasure. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Hashtag, that looks better. To let us know that you are watching it and you are here with us. We are so excited to have you. I am super excited to have our guest today, and we are going to be talking about how past trauma might be holding you back in your life and or in your business. But first, let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm a connector. Well, at least that's what I call myself. I connect people and information to each other for resources, growth, personal development, learning, just bettering any part of ourselves. I'm very passionate about personal development and also spirituality. And I love to share it with the world. So I've created the Connected Soul Network membership. We service explorers, which is just people that are wanting to attend events, have support, and also consume content through these interviews, event replays, and other special resources that are in the membership portal. And I service guides who are the amazing healers, coaches, therapists, people that are servicing the world with their gifts, and they are sharing them. They're looking for more visibility and to be of service, to reach more people outside of their own network and their own audience. We collaborate together. We have an amazing community. It's been a lot of fun, and I invite you to join us if that's something that interests you. You can message me personally. We can chat more about it, or you can look in the caption and check it out. With that being said, we have so many upcoming events. We're going to talk about some of them today because Maria, our guest, she is going to be hosting, co-hosting with me. Well, I'll be hosting, and she'll be giving her gifts to the world, and also sharing a lot of great knowledge and information and healing sessions. We're so excited. With that being said, I would love to talk a little bit more about Maria and tell you who she is. Maria is on a mission to help thousands of women and female entrepreneurs heal from the cycle of generational trauma and its sometimes hidden effects so they can unlock their true power and potential and finally be who they were always meant to be. An empowered, free, worthy woman who feels deeply deserving of all that she desires. Her deepest belief is that we all have the ability to turn our pain into power. And when we do deep subconscious healing, success and abundance naturally follow. That's why she has dedicated her life to being a trauma alchemist. I love that name. And using her unique 7-key framework, the Trauma Alchemy Code, DESERVE, DESERVE. She frees women from childhood trauma and allows them to reclaim their self-worth, own their confidence, and alchemize their past into inner peace, success, and abundance so they can thrive in business, life, and love. Her healing is often described as magical because it is accelerated and fast. It doesn't have to take years and years. It's based on her knowledge, wisdom, and lived experience of her own conscious and subconscious healing, which she has artfully integrated into her work as a rapid transformational therapist, clinical hypnotherapist, breathwork facilitator, inner child healing specialist, trauma-sensitive HeartMath certified practitioner, and published author. This meaningful cause is particularly close to Maria's heart. Having overcome fear, past trauma, and being stuck in visibility fears and imposter syndrome to healing and thriving in life and business, Maria truly understands what it takes to overcome trauma and limiting beliefs in order to heal, transform, and thrive. Now she wants to pave the way for other women to do the same by inspiring them to alchemize their past into success and abundance, and thereby becoming the change maker in their family who sets the example of moving towards an empowered future for herself and the next generations to come, creating a significant ripple effect for change in the world. Maria works in international practice and speaks at podcasts and events in English and German. Maria is from Germany and currently lives in the USA with her 3 children and husband. To rapidly gain confidence and overcome your limiting beliefs, you can visit her website, which I will link in the caption above, for your free transformational audio and other great gifts. Let me bring her on. Hi, Maria.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi,
I'm so,
Jennifer. So
I'm
good to see you again.
Yes, I'm so excited. We've been talking about this forever and we have so
Yeah.
much good stuff coming. And I just love your smile. I told you that the first time that we met on video, and you just have like this magnetic, like awesome smile. So
Thank you so much. That's really sweet of you to say. I appreciate it.
it just lights up the room. Like when I see it, it just makes me want to smile. So it's like a gift in itself, you know?
Yeah, it's, that always happens when I'm connected to people like you who are
Yeah.
like hard led, and I'm in this space of warmth and heartful conversation and connection. And that's what you provide. So I love to be here with you today.
Oh, thank you. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I always like to start off with how do we know each other? So I think how we traced our pattern back was you posted in a group on Facebook and no idea which one it was. I think I commented and then I must have added you as a friend or something because I liked what you posted, which sounds about right for me because when I see people and they feel heart and soul led and very loving and pure intentions, kind, sometimes I see people's answers or like posts and they're not very kind. That's important to me. Like you can still make a point and be kind. And and so I sent you a friend request and we connected on Facebook, and then I shared about the membership, and then we were already chatting and you were like, this looks really cool. So we connected, and I obviously love what you're up to in the world with the trauma alchemy. I love that name, by the way. The Alchemist is my favorite book. I have it right over here somewhere, right there. So it's like, just one of those things like signs and synchronicities and meant to be. And that's how the universe brought us together. So thank you, universe. We appreciate it. What I want to know is how did you get started in what you are doing?
Oh, wow. That's basically, it's a lifelong journey, so to speak. I started my journey as an educator. I have a master in education, and I worked in the educational field in Germany at the university teaching student teachers. And at the same time, I was like, since my 20s, I started my own healing journey to heal from my own childhood trauma, which I always knew I needed to do. And I was super dedicated to do that my whole life, basically. And then as I went on teaching student teachers, I felt like in that field, the depth of support these student teachers, these young adults needed, couldn't be provided. So that's when I felt for the first time this soul calling. I'm meant to work with people on a deeper healing level. And then, well, it took me my own healing and this whole journey of also being a mom of 3 children to actually get to the point to really offer it to the world. I have several educations, and then I don't know, 2016 or 15 or whenever it was, I started my first business. And that's where I felt like I am ready to bring this to the world. And I created my beautiful website at the time, and I worked with people came, but I did not promote myself at all. And I was like, how can this happen? Like, how can I still, after 20, 30 years of healing, I still don't promote myself the way I should. And that's when I discovered there's something missing in my own healing and also in the toolbox to support people, in women in their healing. So that's when I decided I need to be on a little information journey to find out what's missing. And that's when I found this subconscious healing part and integrated that into everything I already knew and had learned. And it transformed me in a very short amount of time. I have no visibility fears or anything like that anymore, or imposter syndrome. And and that's what I'm offering now to the world. It's my purpose. I feel deeply, deeply called to do that. And it fulfills me deeply each time I see a woman find back to her essence, basically, so she can fully show up in the world as the bright light that she is. And and I love seeing these transformations. And for me, it took, I don't know, as I said, like 30 years of inner journey of healing to do that, to end up where I am now. And it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to take so long, because you can get there quicker by accessing the subconscious mind earlier than I did, because I didn't know about it. So yeah, that's how I ended up where I am now, and offering this beautiful, fulfilling work to the women that are ready to thrive.
I love it. And I can tell your passion in it, and like how it lights you up and brings you just to this place of just excitement and joy. And you're like, and I love it. And I want to show up for work every day, and I want to help all the people. And it really comes through. And when you speak, and just in your energy overall. So thank you for sharing that. So would you say then that you were working on your own trauma, and then you were doing like your education and stuff, and then you realize like, okay, there's still something missing. And then so you went back. I mean, working on ourselves is a lifelong journey, right? But you went back and specifically said, how can I be more visible? And then that's when you found the subconscious work.
Yeah. So, but of course, learning and growing, I would like to, before I go more into this, I would like to make a little, well, I make the distinction later. So yeah, when I discovered I'm still held back in a certain way to let myself be seen in the world, to promote myself. I mean, at that time I wasn't online at all, but like just creating flyers and putting them somewhere, or offering a talk or a workshop somewhere, I would not do that. I was kind of first, I wasn't realizing it right away. Like the first minute, it took me a minute to see, because I was arguing to myself, if I'm meant to do this, people will find me. And this is not untrue. This is true, but it also needs your action. So my action was missing. Why wasn't I taking action? So that's when I asked this question. And I did not know about subconscious healing at that time. And I was just open to the answer. And the universe provided it to me when I stumbled over it and tried it, and was like blown away by the how quick it would get to the root cause of what is holding me back. And that was no surprise to me, because I had done so much healing on my past wound, my past trauma. But the thing that I never discovered before is that we not only have conscious beliefs about ourselves and about the world, about our work, about any topic at all, but also subconscious beliefs, and that we don't know about it. We just have them, and we don't know that they are there. And that's what I discovered in this subconscious work. I had healed the trauma to a really good degree, but I had never touched these beliefs that were still stored in my subconscious mind. The belief, it's not safe to be seen. That's what it was for me. It is not safe to be seen. And if you don't heal it like at this ground basic level, it won't change. You can do your affirmations and changing it consciously. You can do all very determined work. It will do something. I don't want to neglect that or talk that down at all. Not at all. But it will, you have to keep doing this all the time with a lot of effort to keep it up, because it's still stored in the subconscious mind. So that we have two conflicting beliefs. Like one is, I can do this, it's safe to be seen, I put myself out there, I'm taking a step every day, whatever the affirmation or the new belief might be. And the subconscious mind is saying at the same time, no, it's not safe it's not safe, it's not safe. And so there's this fight going on. And it's like a lot of effort if you still are able to put yourself out there. So that's what was the big breakthrough for me, to change that. And if you change this at the root, when you do your healing and you heal this once and for all, when you created it, you recreate these beliefs about ourselves and the world at the age between, let's say, until 10 years old. That's when we have these basic perceptions and beliefs about ourselves and the world. We create them from all those experiences we have, the social conditioning, everything. And that is then like a blueprint. It's like a blueprint for our life. And all our decisions, all our actions are based off of this blueprint. And if we don't change that, then our life won't change. It will be in this trajectory of those beliefs that we created unknowingly at the time. And that's the tragedy in this, because we are not aware of that. We can't be, because during that age, we are very impressionable and our brain is in a different state. So we don't know that that's happening. We just wonder when we are adults, why do I keep having the same situations coming to me? Why is this same pattern there? Why do I run into the same problems over and over? Yes, it's because there's something stored in our subconscious mind that needs to be addressed. And so when we change that at the root in this basic fundamental transformational way, then this is a big step. It doesn't mean, like you said in the beginning, Jennifer, it doesn't mean that we are not ever evolving. But then I wouldn't call it healing anymore. We heal, and how I do it now is subconsciously and consciously. And then as we grow, like in our business, as we my example is maybe a good example for that. Like when I claimed that I help women overcome childhood trauma, heal childhood trauma, and I started calling myself Trauma Alchemist, that was a big deal for me. It didn't hold me back. I didn't hesitate to call myself, but I had a little inner hurdle I had to get over. Clients told me this, man, you were really an alchemist. And I'm like, oh. And then someone else said, yeah, you should call yourself that. I'm like, really? And I felt this little hurdle inside myself, but it was not a block anymore that I needed to heal. It was a growing pain. That's what I think the little distinction I wanted to make in the beginning is we need to heal to a certain point. And then it doesn't mean that we will not have hit a limit again. But then it's just a growing pain. We might need a little support, but not this foundational support that allows us to really get into this place to grow. Gosh, this was a long explanation.
But it was really good. It was so good. I was just in it all the time. I'm like, ooh, what's she going to say next?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. I obviously had a lot to say to that.
Yeah. Well, and I just trust in that the universe is channeling through us, and that whoever's watching this, that's exactly what they probably needed to hear. And I love just having so many different people. Like I'd say the one common denominator is that most of the guides in the membership all work with the subconscious, and also with the like trauma is a big thing. And I don't think people really realize it. So do you want to just give because I feel like this is what I had always thought, like trauma is like some big event that happened, but really what I've learned is just trauma is how we interpret something through our senses when it happens to us as children. And we don't have we're not developed in our brain. We don't have our logical, experienced brain that we have now. And we're just 0 to 10, like you said. So it's like that. It could be something so simple that creates a belief. Can you give an example of something that would be just very simple that someone might they hear it and they go, oh crap, I might have done that,
Yeah, that's really true. We hear this word trauma, and everybody thinks, oh, that must be the big trauma, like sexual abuse. I mean, I work a lot with that, but that's not the only trauma there is. I would extend your great explanation of trauma into trauma is basically anything that you experience as a child that's too much for you to digest at the time, because there is, as Peter Levine says, the empathetic witness is missing in that situation. You don't have someone you can just cry with about what happened. So if you get like bullied at school, someone's a mean girl, let's say, is always teasing you, and if you are like a first grader and you don't have an environment at home where you can come home and tell your mom, and she's not saying, yeah, what did you do to cause this, but instead she's there, oh yeah, honey, come here. I mean, it's very simple example, but come here, I give you a hug, and just know that's not okay that she's doing that, but you are the most beautiful little girl that there is. And then the little girl can cry and just cry all the emotions from school that couldn't be felt there because it was in this environment of the school where you can't just be all over tears, or maybe some do, but some already hold themselves back there. And then you can do that with your mom at home, and then it can be digested. It doesn't create a trauma or a belief, because your mom reaffirmed, mirrored to you who you actually are, let's say a beautiful little soul. And if you don't do that, if you don't have that, you, as children, we always think it must be something wrong with us. There must be something wrong, that this is happening to us, that we don't get a birthday present. All these simple examples, right? You asked for a simple example, that we don't get a birthday present from our dad who doesn't live with us. Or if we don't, if we feel like the other brother is preferred in some way. The mom spends more time with that child because it's sick. We end up thinking, there must be something wrong with me. I must be not lovable, not as lovable as the others, for example, in this example of comparison. And that creates then this belief, I'm not lovable, or I don't matter, or I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of a birthday present. And these are then the beliefs that are stored in the subconscious mind that drive our life, and then attract the same experiences to us that mirror those beliefs. When we wonder why we end up in relationships where the partner doesn't treat us the way we think and feel we should be treated, it maybe it is the case because I don't want to say that it's our fault, but it can happen because we have beliefs that just say, I don't feel worthy, or I don't feel lovable. And these simple examples that I just brought can be the cause for that, especially when they get reinforced over and over during our childhood or teenage years. It's really then stored and cemented. And life will bring us these experiences over and over that mirror those beliefs, which I would say are invitations to heal in those moments.
Oops, I agree, 100%. And yeah, so triggers are data and feedback of where things might need to locate your life. Also patterns, lack of moving forward or going after something that you want. There might be something subconsciously. So I think it's a perfect time, because we didn't talk about it earlier, but that's because it was supposed to be now. Like, I feel like they don't really tell us a lot about the subconscious mind, at least growing up in the States, not that I remember. And it wasn't until I went on my own spiritual awakening and got really into personal development that I started to learn about the conscious versus the subconscious, and found that, it's said between 90 and 95% of everything that we're thinking, doing, seeing, feeling, believing is subconscious. So if you're watching this and you're like, well, that's not me. Like, the thing is you don't know, because it's so deep inside of us that where you need assistance to maybe help find these things. So can you just kind of define conscious versus the subconscious, what the subconscious is exactly, just to give a little bit more context?
Yeah, well, you already said it. The subconscious mind is like 90% or 95%, that people say different things about that, of who we are. And 10% or 5% is actually what we can change, what we are aware of and where we operate, like in our attempts to change things in our life. We have these 5% only. And the subconscious mind is anything that's deeper within ourselves, where our emotions and our beliefs are stored. It's like, I don't know, maybe the people that are watching this have seen this, but there is this image, there's the ocean, and then there's this ice mountain that's on top, that's the 5%, and then there's this big thing under the water, that's the subconscious mind, where all of that is stored and where we need to be able to access that to change that. And then there's the superconscious, which I would say is the connection to the divine and the other realms. That's our soul connection. That's also a certain consciousness. And so that's a quick differentiation, as you already brought it. And the only thing you have to memorize or to remember is that the conscious mind is only 5 to 10%, and the subconscious is 90 to 95%. If you want lasting change, that's when you also have to take the subconscious mind into consideration to attempt this change by accessing the subconscious mind.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for I always like to think of who I was when I first started, and I didn't know this about any of this. And I just started going to events, like we're going to talk about the events that you and I are collaborating on in the membership and the network together. And I just started going to these events, and I felt changes, and I started to go to intuitives and healers, and they would say things and I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that, but it makes sense. And I'm like, how could they know that? You know what I mean? So I am very passionate about personal development. That's why I created the membership. I'm very passionate about trauma work and subconscious work. It has helped me tremendously with all the guides that I have used in my life, like yourself. I have been able to get to where I am. Like, I've had this vision for over 6 years, to build this membership. And I had to work through, like you, a lot of hurdles to actually get here, where I could, as much as I love being visible, and I'm probably a lot more visible than most people, I still had my own visibility things, and I was working with people to help me to be able to get on camera and show up, and then step into the role of being a CEO of my business and, just taking responsibility. Like, there's so much stuff that it has helped me so tremendously. So I love your passion for it. It really, really comes through. Let's talk about, first, you're going to be our speaker tomorrow at the Call to Connect. So Call to Connect is just, this is a membership event, like networking and connection. I like it more connection, but networking, people know that term more, where we have a speaker, a healer, and we have little breakout rooms. And it's an awesome event. It's for anybody that's a member or non-member. If you're a non-member, it's just $15 to come check it out, or just become a member. And Maria is going to be talking at the event about visibility in business. So this event is more focused on business. Explorers are welcome to come, but the topic is going to be about collaborating in business. How can we support you in business? Anything related to whatever you want to talk to in your breakout rooms is fine with me. So how trauma might be impacting your business. And you are going to give 5 tips on how to overcome visibility fears. I'm excited about that.
I'm super excited about it, because that's something that I have learned along my journey that has really helped me. And what I also work on with people who are doing this work with me now, that's something that we do on the conscious level. Of course, what I do then in this event, what I share, is something that people can do in their conscious awareness. And then there's this other event that you are going to talk now about, I guess.
Yes, but I was going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have one of those 5 tips off the top of your head that you could share with us right now? I know you're not prepared for that. So if not, that's okay.
I'm not prepared for that, but let me just, so one little tip is that's the first really, really basic tip, and I will share another one after that, is to just journal about, just write out all the fears that you have, what you think, why you can't do that, like all that clutter that's up here in your mind, keeping you away from it. Just write it all out and let yourself go crazy with writing it out. Whatever comes to mind, there's nothing wrong or right about it. Just do it. Write it all out. And then another step is, and that's a crucial question that's applicable in so many different situations, like, and then if you come a little closer through your writing to what the actual fear is that's holding you back, might it be a fear of rejection, or might it be that you laughed at, or whatever, then ask yourself a deeper question, like, where do I know this from? Where do I know this from? And I don't go more into it now. That's a question that can get you onto a little path of exploration, which I will share more about then in that event.
Perfect. We're just giving a little teaser. You got to come to the event or become a member so that you can see the replay. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad I can't go to the event tomorrow, it will be in the membership in the back end portal under event replays. So join us. And then the next really cool event I want to talk about, I'm calling these service events. So these are events that the guides are doing. They are just free for members, $15 for non-members, and they are coming and giving their services and their passions and their soul gifts to the world, and also just sharing with us, which I appreciate. Thank you. And then I'm coming as the Connected Soul Network to host and also, be able to introduce and be the back end for you so that you can just show up and not have to worry about the tech part of it, because I know the tech part gets a lot of people. But I'm really excited about this event. I'm like, maybe I'll find someone to run the event so I can actually participate. And that's going to be, I called it uncovering the root cause of your visibility fears, or I'd called it visibility root cause on the events sheet. But tell us more about what this event is going to be.
Yeah, so while tomorrow we will just talk 10 minutes or something about the 5 steps that you can take to overcome your visibility fears. I will then go at this event, I will share more about that. But then actually we will do it. It's a group healing session that I provide where we will I will guide you to explore and find out in where the cause for your visibility fears in your subconscious mind is. And we will, of course, talk also before we do that more about what is actually behind visibility fears, what are the deeper emotions. And then we will actually do the exploration in the subconscious mind to really get to the bottom of this and heal this as much as we can do that in a group setting, so you can create new beliefs that will be actually supporting you in your attempt to, and in your soul desire to go out into the world and be seen with your services, so you can have an impact and an income. So that's what we do at that event. I will provide and guide you in a subconscious healing session in this group setting.
Okay, I have a follow-up question. So for this event, I put on the screen, it's going to be January 16th. That's not the official name. That's just what I'm calling it for now. But so if an explorer wants to come, they don't have a business, would they still get something out of it?
The visibility fears are, of course, it's a known term for people who are in business or in their careers. But people who don't have a business still have work, right? They are maybe an employee somewhere, and they just don't ask for the promotion, or they don't show really what they are capable of. And then that's one other aspect that's not business focused but career focused. So that would be helpful for all those people who are interested in hearing more about that or healing that. And also, what's the visibility fear is always a fear of being authentically you, which can also hold you back in your life. Like, where in your life do you not show up as who you actually are, to not lose people, to be accepted? So that's also interesting. I can frame depending on how many explorers there will be, I can frame this question in that healing session in 2 ways, so that it's for the career and business people and also for the explorers. So it can be valuable for everybody.
Thank you for that. Amazing. Okay, great answer for that. All right. And then I'm like, we have a lot of events to cover. Maria is so generous that she was just like, I love to do this and I'll do this. And I'm like, yes, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's put it on the calendar. So on January 30th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific, these are all Pacific Standard Time. So just type in Google if you're not sure what time this is. We are in California. I'm in California and you are also on the West Coast. And you can figure out what your time zone is. Maria is going to be doing a sound bath. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that in my intro, that I'm also a sound healer, and I use quartz crystal bowls. And this sound bath will be, I have bowls that are related to the chakras, to the 7 chakras. And I will use all those bowls, but I will focus on the heart chakra. If we have wounds, or let's say it that way, everybody has some kind of wounds, and we all create in our childhoods and throughout our lives protection around our heart. And this sound bath, these frequencies of these sounds will help you to open your heart chakra so you can receive more love and give more love and feel more of all the beautiful things that are there to be felt in our life. So that's what this will help with on a frequency level. And that's what I would love to provide for all of you. The only thing that you need for that is a place where you are comfortable and also earbuds that are really good. So the frequencies will come through these earbuds, and it will have the same effect as if I do this locally, which I do often or did for a very long time.
And when you say locally, do you want to are you still doing them locally?
No, I don't. I did before the whole COVID thing happened, and then people were just not coming anymore. And I haven't put it back up because I'm so busy with my trauma work that I actually right now don't have time to do it. But when we talked, I felt so called to offer it here in your community, in our community, where I'm now part of, because I love it so much. So that's what I'm gonna offer.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like a VIP person right now. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. Yeah. So this is an exclusive in the Connected Soul Network community only. Join us now. I feel like it's like a live commercial.
Yeah, you did really well. It sounded like one.
I'm like coming to you live. All right. So next we have, I'm so excited for all of these. February 8th, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Breathwork Session. Tell us a little bit about Breathwork. And we're going to meet again and have another interview before this so we can get more into the breathwork and then the next event we're going to talk about. So you don't have to get high level, but just if people are aware and want to put it on their calendar, they can.
Yeah, I mean, right now, most people have heard about breathwork in some way. So I just want to share my experience with it and also my experience working with people with it. We have to heal if we want to heal on all levels, body, mind, and heart, soul. So the breath work is really a great way to release some old emotions that you feel like you can't access. And it also releases those emotions from your body. It's such a great way to just release. And then, I've done so many breathwork sessions and I just love it because I don't need drugs or anything. It just brings you into this altered state where you have access to I don't know, it's a different consciousness. It's so fascinating. It's so amazing. And some people with trauma might think, oh, that's scary. I don't want to experience something that I have suppressed for some reason. I can just share and say from my own experience and from experiences with others, it will only come up what you are ready to release. So that's what this breathwork session is about. And I will work into it something with the inner child also. So you have an experience of that. It's really a great way to relax. It's a great way to release and to experience a different kind of therapy without talking so much.
I love it. It's very powerful. I've only done it really one time that I went to an event, but it was magical. I released, for some people, this is going to sound crazy, but a lot of past life trauma. It was stuck in my hips. My hips are always very tight, very sore. I know they store a lot of our trauma there. That could be a whole nother life. But my hips during the breath work just were on fire. And so the two facilitators were like, helping me move the energy through. And then I was just by the end, I was just going crazy. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so amazing. Like afterwards, it was, and I felt like a shift. It was awesome. Like things that I couldn't move without having that breath and like getting my body into it. So I'm really excited about that one too. And then our last one that we have set up, and we'll have a separate live for this. So if you're watching, you're like, well, this sounds interesting. I just threw these names on so that I could put these up here. This is not planned, but I like, since I have the dates and the times, might as well throw them up here. So this is February 27th, 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I just called it Explore Hidden Trauma. Do you want to just talk a little bit about this one? It's going to be the kind of like the talk hypnosis and okay, go ahead. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, so that's going to be an event where I talk about 7 reasons why unresolved trauma might be holding you back in your life and or business. But the focus is, in your life and business both. So we will talk about that. What sometimes, as we said in the beginning, sometimes you think, no, I didn't get abused. I wasn't in a severe car accident where I lost my mom or in a war or whatever. But everybody has some trauma, and sometimes we can't see it. It's hidden. And I just want to do the translation part. What does it actually mean? How can it show up in our lives? And give these 7 reasons. And then I want to invite the explorers, and of course also guides who want to come, but the explorers to go with me on this inner journey. And I will provide a group session again. I will not go back to some memories in the past that might be traumatic, because I just want to be I want to give them something that can support them in their daily life. So I will create a beautiful experience. You will meet your inner child, most likely, and that will be something that will support you in your daily life. That's what this is going to be about. It's a little bit talking, not so much, but a little bit. And then afterwards, there is this group session again.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all of your gifts and all of your time and all these amazing things to look forward to. So let's talk about, so someone might be watching this, and if you are, we'd love to have you in the membership, come to the events. If you aren't a member, it's not a good time for you, whatever the reason is, you can still, if any of those events call to you, come as just a non-member for $15, super affordable price for what you're getting. And if you want to work with Maria personally, let's talk about how people might be able to work with you. So you work with women only, right?
Well, officially I work with women only, but I work with a lot of women, and then they send me their husbands or their sons or their friends. So that's how I also work with men. But I address women mainly. That's true. So I work with them, and I work with them one-on-one. And right now, my offers are changing a little bit, but right now I offer work because it's so transformative and so powerful so quickly. The longest I work with someone on one big topic, let's say, is 3 months. It's from 1 to 3 months. And it's about reclaiming yourself and removing the blocks that are holding you back in your life or in your business, whatever it might be. And I work a lot with visibility fears and imposter syndrome in this business context. But I also have worked with trauma, with depression, anxiety. I helped 2 women who couldn't get pregnant and had unexplained infertility for 2 years. I helped them get pregnant the month after we worked together. So it just shows the bandwidth of this work, and that it's always going back to healing the trauma, and it can have so many effects, as you just saw in how I explained this. That's what I do. And for people to find out more about it, it's just for them to go to my website and read through that. My website will change let's say in a month or so. I'm in the process of redesigning it and adding more content to it. And I offer free clarity calls. It's no strings attached. It doesn't cost anything. It's 30 minutes where we can just talk about what your challenges are, what you want your transformation to look like. And then I talk about and share more about how I actually work and how this work looks like. And then we can see if you're a good fit and go from there.
Awesome. So what I heard was right now you are offering the Reclaim Yourself program or package. It's 1 to 3 months. And if someone is like, okay, I love Maria, which how could they not? And I want to work with her, then they can go to this website that I have up on the screen and book a clarity call with you, which is 30 minutes. They can, that's free, and they can see if it's a good fit, chat about like pricing and what's included and whatever, you know, they might be experiencing in their life that they're wanting to have assistance with. And it's going to be subconscious work. And Maria's lovely. I highly recommend checking her out if you feel called to her. And yeah, come to an event and then experience her work firsthand, and then you might just be hooked. So I'm like, it's a win-win situation no matter what. I love it. What else do you have to share before we start to wrap it up?
I just want to share that sometimes it might feel daunting to really start this healing journey, or it might feel frustrating because you have done so much and it's still not changing. What's going on? I can just tell you, be brave, be courageous, don't give up. I did not give up. You know, one life lesson for me in this life is to have patience. And I had to learn to trust in the divine timing of it. I can just share with you, you can change, you can heal. It's possible. It doesn't have to take years. There is a faster way, and I'm ready to help you if you are ready, and everybody can do this.
That is beautiful, and I agree. And yeah, taking the first step is there. I was walking one day, and the quote came to me in my mind was like, "On the other side of pain is peace." Like when you work through that pain and you address it, you find peace. And if you don't, then it's just going to keep being like how we talked about at the beginning, like those little triggers that are just going to poke you until you do something about it. And it's almost like it gets louder and louder until you check it out and see.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to say something to that just crosses my mind. You know, we learn as children, maybe not everybody, but a lot of us learn as children that our feelings and how we express ourselves is not accepted exactly in the way we would have needed it, let's say. And so we can't feel all our emotions at that time, maybe. So we have this notion that, oh, emotions and deep emotions are just dangerous. And that's just something that our younger parts feel because it was at the time. But every emotion that we have, if we just allow it to be there and to come up naturally, and we would allow ourselves to feel it, it just takes 90 seconds or something. It's like a wave. And always, that's why I had this thought just now, at the end of this wave, when we allow ourselves to feel it, and we won't die from it, we won't be sucked into a depression or anything. That's all the thoughts and fears because of our experiences in our childhood. At the end of this wave, there is this peace, this deep inner peace, and a deeper connectedness with ourselves. And if you believe in that, like the greater consciousness is always after that. In my perception and in my experience, emotions are the pathway to experience a connection with ourselves and the divine or spirit or God, however you call it. So
yes, and I'm going to speak for myself. We're so scared of them. I am so scared of them. But exactly what you said, I feel like that message came through because of me is like, that's how I experienced it. You know, my grandfather was not a person that expressed his emotions. For him, he couldn't. His childhood did not allow him to be emotional. He lost his parents at a very young age, and he had to be strong. And if he was weak, he would get taken advantage of. So he created a belief that, like, if I am weak, I will die. Like people will take advantage of me. And so that's been passed down generationally. I remember crying in this exact room, and I was in this corner right over here. And he was like, don't cry. Like, I was shamed for crying because, and I'm like, I'm just like a little 5-year-old girl. Like, let me cry and be upset about something, you know? So it's so powerful. Like when you do, like, as I have these emotional releases now and I get more touch and being able to have emotions and be okay with them, it's so freaking powerful. Like that's one piece that helped me get the membership started. Is I went to an event and just something came up and it was like time and ready in the right space, and it was just like so powerful. It was uncomfortable in the moment, I'm not gonna lie, but because I'm consciously aware, I knew that it was great. Like I was like, okay, let it come out. I want to get it out now. Like before I'd be like, don't cry, like don't cry, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I let it out and I came back and like the membership was like, it's time. And I have been on fire since. It was like such a powerful release. And if you can help people to experience the same thing, and it's different for everyone. I want to say too, like sometimes like my releases is laughter, not crying. And it's just like getting it out of your body, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. And some people, I mean, I work with people who are really ready for that, like you were in that moment, which brought you this big release. So I work also with people who don't know if they are really ready, because the subconscious work works anyway. I mean, some people, when I work with people here in person, but also mostly over Zoom, some people cry a lot, like they are really ready to feel those emotions. And I have people who don't cry a lot, where you don't see a tear the whole session, and it still works. It still works. But I just wanted to bring this example of why we are so afraid of our emotions. It's because of those childhood experiences, just like yours that you just shared. So thank you for sharing that. I bet a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh, I'm sure they can. I know that I see myself in a lot of people. You know what I mean? And for me, and we'll wrap it up right now, but I have attracted a lot of emotionally unavailable men. And I was like, well, who's the common denominator here? Why is this happening? It's me. And so that's where I started to really look into that. Like, okay, well, what is going on with me? I read an article. The universe sent me this article randomly, and it was like, you may be emotionally unavailable if, and I don't know why I read it because I didn't have any idea. And I read it, and then I was like, oh my God, that's me. And that's how like my first knowing of that arrived, and that was like 7 or 8, maybe even 9 years ago. And so it's been that journey since then, and I'm still working on it.
Yeah, and you had your first role model of a man was your dad, who was so afraid of his emotions and couldn't let them be in himself and in you. I mean, it's like always this whole package. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We don't have to go more into it.
We'll talk about this on the next one.
Yes,
Maria will be having another interview airing in February, so stay tuned. All right. Well, I have your website up. I'll put it also in the captions. If you want to join us in any of the events or the membership, we would love to have you. And thank you so much for being here today and just showing up for yourself always, because if you're sitting here watching this, there was something obviously that you wanted or needed to hear knowingly or unknowingly in your subconscious. And maybe you'll even walk away with an epiphany, or a little nugget of information that might help you in your journey, even if we never see you again. So we appreciate you. And I appreciate you, Maria. Thank you so much for taking the time and energy and effort and being part of the membership. Like your presence is so amazing. And I'm just so honored and grateful to have you as a guide. So thank you.
Thank you for bringing it into the world. When I just read briefly about it, I felt in my gut, without reading all the details, I just knew I needed to be part of it. I just felt it. And I just love your energy and the way you are holding this and bringing this into the world. It's so beautiful. So thank you from my side too, and also thank you for giving me space here today to share my passion.
Yes, I love it. I'm the same way. I'm like, you get me talking about the membership, and I'm like, and da 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 da. So that's why I love it in you, because I'm like, I see it in myself, and that's awesome. Like, I love to have that feeling. So thank you for all those kind words. All right, everyone, have an amazing day. We will see you soon. Bye.